perspective which Ram also talked about that defense perspective should be taken in the R&D Institute. So that is where I come from. Basically, the technology, research and innovation, people have been talking about for various aspects, and certainly it improves the fundamental drivers which helps our society to grow. Many people, they talk about weapons, fireworks, as far as military context is concerned. But very few of you will be knowing that the man behind the scenes, they have to work in the environment where their safety and their life support systems, which are developed, a lot of research goes. So I will be more talking about today about the kind of protective equipments, protective devices, and safety measures which are taken, particularly in the research domain, and where a lot of research can be done by the youngsters as well as professors. So already, in fact, in the initial discussion itself, it has come that today world is in the middle of transformation. There are a lot of world order which is the present world order is changing, where it is taking up to the new world order, and the conventional warfare, which was more of a kinetic war, use of kinetic warfare agents or the weapons, they have completely changed. Very recently, Russia in fact took the control of the satellite, Ukrainian satellite, and they started giving warfare related items rather than screening whatever was coming, particularly for the social welfare. And you must have also heard about the Stuxnet or the power outage which has happened, and there are other asymmetric means by which people are trying to demean or basically make it sure that they are weakening their opposition and adversaries. There are many other things which is also we have to be aware. I went to many of the northeast universities where a lot of I found that they are having collaboration with a lot of foreign universities, and I was surprised at why it happened. So most of the collaboration was happening more for taking the data of the flora and fauna of the regions rather than having the real research. Our soldiers are at the center of all our warfare, and they face a lot of environmental factors, and lot of death happens during the peacetime rather than the war time. They face vast rugged, snow-bound and landslide-prone mountains, mountainous terrains, with treacherous weather conditions, which many of our researchers may not be aware. Many of HEP and HAPO conditions happen in these regions, and there are large areas where research can be, research collaboration can be done. Particularly in these regions, the DRDO has developed Green Kavach, which is a 7-layer extreme cold weather clothing which takes care from plus 20 degree to minus 60 degree of temperature. Our research, particularly in the tough terrain, also is useful for many other institutions which are working in these regions, whether they are border roads organization or grid organization or ITBP, besides our armed forces. You must have heard about flash flood at Harari very recently, at Lachin landslide which has happened, Joshimat crack which has happened, and Kisper flash flood. All these things has happened because of human activities in these high Himalayas. And what I like most In this particular conference, we are talking the uses of science, technology, and research and innovation for the sustenance. Unless there are long-term measures taken, we will be seeing this kind of eventualities and hazards. Particularly soldier support systems, which I'm heading, it works in broadly 4 different areas. You must be knowing that during all these war times, also there is area called CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, basically chemical and biological. Beside detectors, we are having the nuclear threats also. Not only from the people who have not signed with some of the treaties, but also from the non-state actors. And we developed a lot of devices which can now detect these conditions in the DRDO itself. Rather than having the imports from the outside, we also look for the operational support where high altitude habitability is very important. And extreme platform support, particularly for submarine escape systems, shallow water fording for the tanks are also where our devices are applied. And we also work for the GUL, for medics, where landslides and avalanche are creating a lot of dangers, particularly in the high Himalayas. CBRN already have 20 lot of equipment has been developed, Takada, ICAT, INSA, and the NPC suits have been developed, boot, gloves and masks have been developed. We have also applied the hazmat vehicle during G20, whereas level A suit research is going on, development is going on. We are looking for the research where these equipments can be put on the drones and you can make it so that you are able to detect these conditions of chemical and biological hazards. We are also, earlier aircraft were never being looked after that we have to give any protections for the CBRN. Now for AMCA also inline chemical and biological filters are being developed. Now, this must be knowing these, there are nerve agents, blister agents and blood and choking agents, they come under Schedule A group, Schedule 1, and these chemicals we are able to synthesize, we are able to have the protection against these things, but then antidotes development, particularly for the nerve agents, are difficult. Many proposals came and they are still not working because nerve agents they work very fast within less than a second. So you have to develop antidotes which can be faster than that. One of the lab is OPCW approved and it is consistently proficiency tested positive since 2006. We have also developed PSL4, now it is under construction. You must be knowing the biodigester which is being applied in all railways, they are from the DRDO. Earlier, all our soldiers as well as first responders were going to external agencies to other countries for doing the live training of the CBRN, now they are being done in the DRDO itself. As far as the aeronautical devices are concerned, we use the technology of gas separation, gas sensing, respiratory. I will be talking about some of the devices in the next slide. So, we do provide flying clothing for all our flying crews, particularly NDG suits, and for submariners, we give submarine escape systems. For helicopters, particularly helicopter oxygen systems are going. You must be knowing that during COVID, one agency which gave oxygen plants to all the districts is nothing but it was headed by me during that time. With PM cares, 2,000 crore worth of funds were given for handling ventilators as well as oxygen plants, which was nothing but offset of ILSS onboard oxygen generation for the periods. Hypobags, for high altitude, you find that hypocondition gets to the human being and water gets circulated in the heart, and these health conditions can be overcome if tagobugs are given. Very recently, large number of tagobugs and order has been given by the armed forces. Similarly, presently work is going on providing a human exoskeleton for the soldiers. A lot of work is needed here. Most of the actuator still comes from outside every time work along. Similarly, a flying human being who can jump from one hilltop to another hilltop, one ship to another ship. Jet suit is getting developed. People can contribute for making the actuator, particularly EDF. Electric fans can be made. Similarly, for avalanche, landslide, and weather forecasting, I have already told you that we work where during winter every 24 hours. Weather predictions are given both to the civilian as well as armed forces movement. Besides that, it is very important that we must mitigate these hazards if they are about to occur, and for that we have already developed control structure. But what is very important is, can we have the artificial triggering before the actual event happens? Generally, being done with ammunition. We are looking at the non-ammunition version, where either you can do it with a gas or with any other energy providing equipment. So research can be conducted in this particular area. You must be, many of you may not be knowing that all armed forces recruitment, they happen through the psychological assessment, and they are all being done by the DRDO. No officers, they enter into the armed forces without interventions and the active help of DRDO. Here we also have developed computerized selection system for which pilots they get selected, and the same is getting also now imported to the other countries. As we are knowing the warfare for today, tomorrow, and futuristic, we are going to move from IoT to Internet of Everything, and we are looking at can you have a research where the thought-activated devices can be developed? Can we have the thought insertions? Can we have the mind reading? So there are many research which can be done, particularly the human-machine teaming. Next warfare will be more where the robots will be working along with the human being. So there are many areas where you can have the human model made into the machine, and then you can have the interfaces defined. Particularly the mental models have to be made, theory of mind can be made, common ground situations can be made, and common sense. So I request that people should coordinate. We are going to come separately to IIT Kanpur to research, to have a separate discussion on all these aspects. Now, another thing is, I'll take 2 more minutes, that presently whatever is the trust which is there between the man and machine is limited, or they are not there. For generating impeccable trust, we must work towards generating a use case where the system, both human being as well as machine or the AI and the robots, they work and they have the joint collaborations for winning over the situation. I'll not get into details in the interest of time. Now, this is very important that nature has given us soil, water, and everything as we wanted, but whole thing has deteriorated. NPP has deteriorated and it is going beyond the limits of the Earth ecosystem. And we must all work for upgrading our systems, making sure that the wastes are not happening. Another area of research is weather monitoring and weather modification. Today, countries are utilizing weather and the natural system to hurt their enemies. Can we have simulation environment at least to start with, where we can also play our parts? And I think a lot of people are needed. China has done a lot of work. Even US also did Operation Papaya during the Vietnam War. Very recently, last 3 years, whatever is happening in the Uttarakhand or Assam, lot of flash floods, all the natural calamities are happening. Are they happening because of any external intervention? We have to do a lot of research in this area. Two of the research which we have done it in this particular thing is there are explosive materials which are every country makes it as part of their weapons. There are no mechanism of bioremediation. We have worked on bioremediation and it is showing some positive signal. People can here also work. Similarly, for the closed environment, particularly for the submarines, we are having a closed environment management where this closed environment management has got its own repercussions. There is a palladium which is utilized and very costly. We have utilized a phenomena for recovering it. So, in situ recovery of palladium from the filters is another technical area where people can work and make it sure that we are. So, as far as DRDO is concerned, it works on lot of weapons, but then there are other areas which are directed. So, energy weapons, quantum computing, quantum communication, materials. So, a lot of areas there where people can work. And this is my last slide. You all must be wondering whether it will take 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, or 300 years for AI to take over human being. Perhaps unless we are cautious and making sure that the control still remains with the human being maybe this discovery may be the last discovery by the human being. We hope that we will not allow that, and I'm seeking everybody, all researchers, to come forward and work for the defense and make it so that we are becoming Atmanirbhar in the defense production and defense protection. Thank you. Thanks a lot.